How do we get going when there's a big project ahead, a test coming up, an interview, something that we've got to get done, but we're just not yet up for it? We're going to cover briefly here the steps, the processes, the perspectives needed to get going, get motivated, and get done what we've got to get done. The first thing we want to do is we want to think about what's going to happen if we don't get it done. What are the consequences? What is going to happen if we're not ready for the test, if we don't have the project done and such? We know from our experience and we know from the research that one of the most motivating things is the fear of what happens if we're not ready or if we don't get it done. That comes in different levels, different layers. First off is just the obvious of, well, if we don't turn in the paper, what happens? Then there is the larger, more motivating piece of what do we already have that we're going to lose? If we already have an A average and we're going to lose that, what does that mean? Or if it means that we're going to flunk out of the class, that from all the studies and certainly from our experience is even more motivating than just the consequence of, well, I'm not going to get a great grade. Even more motivating is if somehow not being prepared is going to threaten our survival. If we're not prepared for the interview and we don't get the job and that puts us in a hard spot, we want to think about those things. We want to make those clear to ourselves so that we know what the consequences are. We want to put those, in a sense, behind us so that we can see if we fall back, that's what's going to happen. Now we want to move towards what will happen if we get this done. What's it going to be like for us if we get the paper back, we've got an A, or we aced the test, or the interview went really well and they say, yeah, the job is yours? What's that like? When we look into the future and we see that us out in front of us and we see the look on our face and we see the glow that we're living in because our efforts paid off, we want to really study that image of us, that sense of what's going to be like, and then step into it. And step into the whole feeling, the full feeling. Feet on the ground. What's it like to be looking out of your eyes there with this success and all that comes with it? As you take this in and you notice how other people see you, what's this like to be seen as a success by your friends, by your family, by the people that matter to you? That also adds to motivation. Now with this internal feeling of what this is going to be like to succeed, what's it going to be like to be seen as a success, we want to look back on that time that we were prepping. Notice, what did we do to get from there to this point in the future, this place that we're looking from now? And we're going to see the steps we took, and we're going to see that they got done. Ultimately, it was maybe easy and certainly doable. With this feeling and this perspective, we step back into current time and bring that feeling, bring that perspective with us so that every time we look out to that future, we see that, we get that feeling and the motivation that comes with us. So now we have the fear, if you will, of what happens if we don't get it done behind us, pushing us forward, and this vision drawing us towards it. What does this do to your motivation, to your get up and go? One more quick piece. When we think about what needs to be done, let's make sure that we see it as doable, not bigger than us, not over us, not more solid than we are. We want to make it smaller, doable, certainly down below eye level, something that we can easily manage, and we can see all the pieces and we can see the sequence to do them in, and they're ours. They don't rule us, we rule them. Now with that, once again, the consequence of if we don't get it done behind us, moving us forward, the things we need to do, smaller than us, out in front of us, maybe tabletop level, engageable, and we see that future successful us pulling us forward. And we step into that success frequently. Now, with this perspective, this sense of things, this arrangement, now how is it to just step in and get moving and get done what you need to get done? Come back to this as often as you need. And if you need a much more complete understanding, please come to our podcast at learn-to-learn.org and look at our podcast on motivation and some of our others on beliefs and visualization and things that will also help you. Thanks for joining us. Use this as often as you need.